Hello everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of What's for Dinner. Today I'm going to be making some Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, so let's get cooking. So before we start, this recipe comes from the Binging With Babish cookbook that I told you about at the beginning of this season. I got this as a Christmas gift last year, and the recipes in it are quite difficult, but I found a couple in here that are actually rather simple. This is one of them. So basically what I've done to start is I have two ribeye steaks here that I put in the freezer. Well, first I put some salt on top, and then I put them in the freezer for about half an hour, and then I took them out and I thinly cut them into strips. They still look intact now, but what we're going to do next is we're going to cook them on the stove. What we're going to do is we're going to heat 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, or what I'm going to call roughly 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Let's put one over here, and then let's put one over here. And we're going to heat it over medium-high heat. I like to do this to coat it around. Now the recipe says to use a cast iron skillet. I don't really want to use my cast iron tonight, so we're just going to use this normal skillet right here. That looks pretty good. Medium-high, and a fan. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to lay in each strip, let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then once they're all cooked, you put them in the center, put some slices of provolone cheese over top, and then pretty much build your sandwich, and that's how this really works. It's a pretty straightforward recipe. I've never made a Philly cheesesteak before. Growing up in Pennsylvania, I don't think I ever had a legitimate Philly cheesesteak from Philadelphia, so it shows you how cultured I am. Okay, let's get this going here. You want to wait until it gets a little shiny, and it's looking like that so far. Let me get some tongs. All right, we're going to say that's going to start us off here. So, actually, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put it in with my hand. Hopefully I was able to cut all the way through. If not, I'm going to have to break off pieces like I'm doing now. Now the recipe calls for 24 ounces of ribeye steak. I found 2 steaks that were roughly equal to 24 ounces. Now the recipe does say to not crowd the pan, so I'm going to leave it just like that. We're going to let it cook undisturbed for about 3 minutes, then we're going to flip them over, and then we essentially line them up, put the cheese on it, let the cheese melt, and that's pretty much how you make the meat. We'll dress the rolls up in a little bit once some meat is done. Okay, I just went and I flipped them over the first time. I'm adding in some more pieces now. What I'm basically trying to do is put all of one of these steaks in here, and then put one thing of cheese over it, and then do the same thing with the other one. Okay, while that finishes up, I'm gonna go ahead and dress up one of the rolls. So I bought 2 large rolls like this from the grocery store. I did have to cut the one open. So this one's already pre-cut. Let me get a plate. Now to dress this up, we're gonna put some ketchup, some mayonnaise, and some sweet and hot peppers. Now I could not find sweet and hot peppers at the grocery store, so I just got these. Some mild banana pepper rings. I feel like that would be just as good. Probably not as good, but as good as what we were going to get for today. Okay, so let me open up this roll a bit. I did not cut this very well. This is going to be interesting how this plays out. Now, I think most viewers know I am not a big fan of mayonnaise, and solely because the recipe calls for it, I am willing to put it on there, and plus there's a lot of other flavors that are going to be a part of this. Flip these. Looks delightful. Okay, put the lid back on here. Go ahead and dress up this roll here. We're going to do ketchup on one side. Let me try this other roll. It's a little smaller. It kind of broke, so we're going to try this other one. All right, I'm going to try cutting into this other roll here. Maybe this one will be better. A little bit better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna put some ketchup in. some ketchup in there. We're gonna do some, now this one broke too. Well, we're gonna have to deal with it. Some mayonnaise. There we go. All right, and then let's put some banana pepper rings in here. I really wish I could have found some sweet hot peppers. That would have been nice. Okay, so I have it dressed up like that. So we got some peppers, ketchup, and mayonnaise. Move this over here so you can see what I'm doing. Get rid of this for the time being. Let's check this beef. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to get the cheese out, and we'll dress this up with some provolone cheese. Okay, I'm going to let this cook another 2 minutes or so, and then we'll be back to put the cheese on it. Okay, I've reduced the heat to medium-low. I have my cheese right here. We're going to line this up in a pile, or attempt to. There's a lot of it here. Now remember, this is just one steak. I still have a whole other one I have to do yet. Okay, one pile, one line. Cheese, cheese. Okay, it's medium-low. And now we just let the cheese melt. Once the cheese melts, you're going to put it onto your Subway roll. And that's essentially a sandwich. You can cut it in half. I will more than likely cut it in half too. So I will be back when it is time to plate this up and eat it. Okay, the provolone has melted really nicely. Let's go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to truck this. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to put this on here like that. That works. Oh, don't fall. Well, the whole roll came apart. I'm going to have to set this down and figure out what to do next. Okay. The whole roll came apart. We're going to hold this up like it's a lot of meat. Cut it in half. I think there should be a rule at attempting to make Philly cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, because this is what they look like. Alright, I have absolutely no clue how I'm going to eat this, so I'm just going to pick up one end and go for it. Here we go. You know what? It's not bad. That's actually really good. Something like this, you just got to go for it, you know? The peppers really add to it. There's probably many different ways, more efficient ways to make this, other than the way I just did it. But I'm not a professional, so this is what you get. Thank you all for watching this episode of What's for Dinner. If you have any recipes that you want me to make on camera, I've created a Google form that allows you to submit recipes for future consideration on the show. You can find a link to that form in the description below. You can also leave your recipe suggestions in the comments. Thank you all again for watching. God bless, and I'll see you next time. That's good. I mean, it's really good. I have a whole lot of steak to make.